am doing a class on the very basics of German longsword. We will discuss later what the difference is between German and Italian longsword. However, this is the very, very basics that is intuitive to anybody picking up a sword or sword-like object for the first time. What is a longsword? Let's start there. So it is a two-handed, double-edged sword that was used in Europe from roughly 1350 all the way to the 1600s. It was primarily a medieval military weapon that was used in combat. However, it later transitioned to a dueling weapon. So both edges on this are sharp. However, this is a safe sparring version that we use in class. I'll be using it to demonstrate parts here in a moment. However, for a lot of the exercises, I will transition to the sword burn seen in the equipment video. So let's go over the parts of a longsword. You have your handle here, and at the end here, this is called a pommel. This is the crossguard or keons, and this is the blade. As you'll notice on the sword, there is a very interesting kind of little boxy implement on it. That is called a schild, or a shield. It was used to protect the thumb when dueling later, around the 14th to 15th century. So other parts to note, when I am holding a sword or later referring to long edge or short edge, it refers to as follow. The long edge is usually the edge that is facing away from you towards your opponent, as such, and the short edge is the edge closest to you. One interesting note about this is if I take the sword and flip it, now my long edge that was down now becomes my short edge has now become my long edge. Other parts of the longsword. So the last third here is called the strong of the blade. That is very useful for grappling, getting it really close, and using it as a lever. However, you can't really cut with it. The middle part is called the middle of the blade. That is ideally where you want to cut. That is where the deepest flesh rendering cuts will come from. And that is also where later when we spar, a lot of the action takes place, and that'll be in a little bit of a later lecture as to what else you can do with the middle of the blade. The last third is called the weak. It is the tip. It is not very good at making nice deep cuts. It is really good at shallow, superficial cuts to the face, forearms, hands, etc. However, you can't really cut with it. You can, however, thrust with it. It is very, very good at that. And that'll be up in a later lecture series too as well on how to thrust with this. So let me get our broom all set up and I'll show some basic cuts. Alright, so now that I have my broom sword, what I want you to do is take your right hand, if you're right hand dominant, place it on top, near the bristles of the broom. And for me personally, I like swinging my broom around with the bristles pointed straight down as I'm holding it here. What I want you to do is take your left hand, place it somewhere towards the bottom of the broom, wherever it feels comfortable. You can even have it on the end here, like a ball and socket joint. Now what I want you to do is to take your right foot, if you have right hand dominant, and put it behind your left. You should be in a nice, comfortable, kind of hanging out spot. Your balance should be weighted. You shouldn't feel uncomfortable in this. And I want you to take your broom sword and put it on your right shoulder. This is the basic guard called vom Tag, or from the roof. This will be talked about more in Longsword 101. However, we're just going to start all of our cuts from here. Now, the most basic cut is one coming straight down in a straight line, like so. Again, this just with the arms for right now, straight down. Now, to put in some footwork for that, what I want you to do is take a step forward with your right foot, like so. Don't stress too much about the footwork. We'll go over it in a later video. However, if you want to throw the cut with your footwork so it doesn't feel quite so awkward just cutting straight down, it looks like so. Now, one important note that I want everyone to focus on is that as I'm cutting, I am keeping my shoulders straight and I'm not overextending my arms. They should be extended, nice and firmly. However, you shouldn't be leaning forward like this with your shoulders kind of pulled outward. Relax, keep your arms out. That comes into play later in later discussions on longsword. However, this is just to keep you safe and from getting hurt later. This can also be done on the left side. What I want you to do is switch what foot you have forward. So for me, I have now my right foot forward, my left foot behind, nice and comfortable. Take the broom, move it back over to your left side, and again, straight down. With the step, straight down. Now our next cut, I want you to unswitch your feet. So your right foot is back behind. Bring your broom back to your other side. And to start this one, just to keep it very basic, we're going to drop this out to the side. Now something to note about this cut is a lot of this comes from your hips. So what I want you to do is turn a little bit this way, and as you move your hands, you're going to rotate your hips. That's going to bring a lot of power into this cut. This is called a middle pow, or a middle cut. With the step, I want you to step out to the side. So, what that looks like that. Again. Good. Now from the left, we're going to start with our right foot forward and our left foot back. Should be about straight out, like this. Again, from the left. Perfect. And with the step, one more time. Perfect. All right, now I want you to take your broom and drop it like you're going to sweep the floor from behind you. Again, left foot forward, right foot back. I'm taking a step back here. And what I want you to do is turn your hips to the side. And as you cut, you're going to rotate your hips this way. And you're going to cut straight up like this and rotate your hips. Okay. This is called the undercut, or the underhow. Now, with the step, I want you to take a 45-degree step to your right with this one. Perfect. Now, one important note that you should note here is that I'm keeping my hands above my head and extended. This comes into play later in Longsword 101, where I'll explain the importance of keeping your hands above your head. But for now, I just want you to get in the habit of when you finish this cut, keeping your hands above your head. All right, time to switch our feet. Right foot forward, left foot back. Bring your sword. This is going to look really funny. Your hands are going to be kind of at a weird angle. However, again, with the hips facing this way, you are going to rotate them forward. And that's how that makes this cut work. Again. All right, let me grab my sword and show you what these cuts look like with a longsword. All right, so I have my longsword. I have my hand right up by the cross guard. My left hand is going to go above the pommel. That's my personal preference for me. Again, my sword is going up into the guard of Tog. Now, I will show the overhow from the right hand side. One more time. Good. From the left. Again. All right. The middle half from the right. Again. And from the left. One more time. Now the under hop from the right. One more time. And from the left. One more time. All right, if anybody has any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to us. We would be happy to answer any of them. Thank you for watching.